My name is LoRhonda, and I am a survivor of incest rape. Growing up, I had my ups and downs. I come from a military background family. My mom was in the military, my dad was in the military. That's how they met. I do have an older sibling. We 3 years apart. During that time when they was married, everything was, normal. They had their room and I had to share a room with him. So I remember probably around elementary school, my parents had got divorced. Once that divorce was settled, we ended up going to Germany. We finally moved to Germany, got to know my friends in the schools and all that. My mom, now remember, I'm back in a single household. So my mom, she's in the military. So she was always gone. During that time, I remember he used to just come in my room, and I'm like, I could just be asleep and I could just feel like somebody just standing in the door, and I'm like, what you doing? And it started off, I guess you could just say, just hunching and stuff. I'm young, so I'm just like frightened. So it started off as that. I would just remember some days, like I'll be in my room and he'll be in the living room, and I could just like hear like he'll play like these certain movies of sex, and I'll just peep around and see what he's doing. And I would see him like really humping the sofa. I'm like, what is wrong with him? Like in the back of my mind, I feel like my mind was a little bit older than I was. So I was just like, okay, so I just left it as that. Then it was like he'll come in there and then he'll tell me to take my clothes off. I'm looking like, oh my goodness, like what is going on? And he'll come in there and he'll finish doing what he doing. At the same time, my mom, sometimes she'll be sleep in the room, like, but her room was like down the hallway and his room was in the middle and mine was in the beginning. It just kept happening. And then when I got a little bit older, he was getting more angry. Like it could be something like if I leave a fork in the sink, he'll get mad and just start hitting me like he my dad. I'm like, hold on. Like it was like his mind. I was like, what is going on? Like he'll just find anything to just make him mad, to just take it out on me. Now he already raping me. Now you want to beat on me. I'm like, man, when is this going to stop? So my mom, like sometimes when he did get out of hand, like he'll probably like a bruise or a scratch or something. She'll come home and be like, what happened? And I just have to make like this a lie, and she'll believe. And I used to be like, come on, Mom, come on. It was one instant, we went to a Christmas party. Everybody had their little Christmas sweatshirts on. I had my little skirt on with the tights and stuff. Went to the Christmas party. I ain't think nothing of it. Then the next day, he just come up to me and said, I just talked to Mom. And I don't hear no phone ringing. I just talked to Mom. She said for you to put the same clothes on you had on yesterday. I'm like, why would she even say that? And he was like, I just talked to her. And I'm looking like, put the same clothes on and got raped. He just took my whole childhood. I was scared to wear shorts, skirts. I was covered up from like my neck up to my feet down. I didn't want to do no sports that involved shorts, anything. I was like so scared to like even show like an ounce of skin with him. Living like he was like married to him. Like he would tell me like to do stuff. I had to fix his food. I had to iron his clothes. I'm looking like, what is going on? So I had to hold that for a long time. Then my mom, bless her heart, with her situation, I knew something she was dealing with because she used to get mad like quick at me. Like she used to get so mad, like I could just come home crying like if I got bullied at school. She'd be like, ain't nothing wrong with you, you be alright. It was like stuff like that. It was like, don't get me wrong, she was the type of mother I never went without. She provide, but the nurturing part needed the most improvement. Like I never felt like I could come to her about anything. Cause it was one incident when we got older. We was in the bathroom. He got mad at something in the bathroom and he was getting ready to hit me. And she seen it. So I was like, yes. I said, this is about to go down. And it didn't. It was like a brush off. I was like, this cannot be happening. So getting older into high school. Now I'm a teenage girl. So you gonna have those moments where you get hormonal, get attitudes and stuff. I'm a teenager, so I was going through that, and then on top of that, I was going through with my mom, getting little attitudes with her, and she just didn't know where it was coming from. Like, I was just losing my mind. I was like, if she don't care, I don't care. And she just got so mad at me one time. She was like, I'm getting tired of whooping you. So from now on, I'm gonna make a list on the refrigerator. Whatever you do, we're gonna write it on the list. And then on Friday, you gonna get a whooping. I'm like, what? But mind you, I'm young and do all this. I didn't care. Man, I was just cutting up, just acting, just all kinds of crazy. And she'll just write it down. And then come Friday, I'll never forget this. She was just reading everything off. She told me to take my clothes off. She got the whooping me, and I guess she got tired of me moving because I had to probably be at least about 14, 15. She was like, lay on the stool. So I laid on the stool, and she got this tape, and she taped my arms and legs around the stool, and it was like she just kept hitting me over and over, and I'm just like hollering, screaming. So he come in while I was still in the back room, and so she was like, come look at your sister. And I was like, why would you? So I'm just laying there looking crazy because I ended up falling. It was just like horrendous, and I was like, now I gotta deal with him. Now I gotta deal with my mama. I gotta deal with stuff at school. Cause it was just like, it was sometimes I would just pray and I'd just be like, Lord, please. I was like, just take me now. Like, I just did not care anymore. Cause I was like, I didn't have no siblings. My mom, she was going through what she was going through. We in Germany. I'm across the ocean. What's gonna happen? Now on the outside, I hit it good. I had a full face. Like, it was like I got into character. It was never no bruises where anybody could see. Like, then nobody noticed because I have a good sense of humor. So that was my escape. I just made people laugh, try to get that attention off me. But the only person I did was finally tell somebody when I moved to Texas. I told my best friend. Baby, she was ready to go to the police. She was just like, LoRhonda, no. And I was like, please don't say nothing. Please don't say nothing. Like, I was begging her, do not say nothing. And she was like, for the only person that knew about what I was going through. After we went to Texas when I was in 10th grade, 3 years apart, so he left to go stay with my father. My father stayed in Tennessee. So when I say when he left, those were like the best. 10th, 11th, 12th grade was just beautiful. Like, it was like like a demon just left the house. Me and my mom, we was getting along, so I was just thinking everything is just gonna be fine. I was like, okay. I was able to sleep. I was able to dress a little skirt because I had to worry about none of that. So during that time, I graduated from high school. My mom, she got sent to Korea for a year. So I wasn't able to go because it was only for a year. Stayed with my dad. He left to go to the Air Force. So I'm thinking everything fine, everything okay, cool. It was me and my cousin and my stepsister. So we outside talking. And I don't even know how we even got on the subject of things that happened to her. My cousin said something would happen to her. I was talking about what would happen to me. And I looked and I seen my stepsister was crying. I was like, oh, what's wrong? And she was like, he did the same thing to me. When I tell you, it felt like a knife just like stabbed me. I was like, I just felt so bad. I was just blaming me. I was like, cause I promise you, I never not one time would have thought he would do that to somebody else. When that came out, later on she did end up telling her mom. So her mom wouldn't play. She was like, we gotta do what we gotta do. So they end up pressing charges and all of this while he was in the Air Force. Now, mind you, my mom was in Korea. He called the house, and I picked up. I was like, hello? And he was like, can you believe that she would say something, I'd do something like that to her? I'm looking at the phone. You've been doing this for me for years. What you talking about? That's how mentally messed up he was. Like, how you would call me and try to make me agree. Nah, this ain't that. So after that phone call, we got in contact with my mom. And she was like, LoRhonda, what's going on? And I was like, well, Mom, it's true. He did that to me while we were growing up. So she was like, when? I was like, Mom, when you used to go to the field, we used to be gone on the weekends, or when you go to the field for a couple of days, it was plenty of opportunity. Because we always stayed in the house by ourselves. So she got quiet. And she was like, I'm going to talk to you later. Got off the phone. I got an email the next day. And she was like, why would you lie on your brother? Why would you mess up his career? And I was looking like, this is why I did not want to tell her. Because I always felt like she loved both of us, but with him, it was kind of different from how me and her. So I was just like, why would you even think? Like, why would I even lie? It was like, she said I was trying to fit in the family. I was trying to fit in with my dad and his new wife. And she was just going on and on. So I guess she got his side of the story, and he tried to make it. He doing all that crying, boo-hooing, and it just went all the way left. And I couldn't respond back. After that, my mom, she passed away in '07. So after all of that went through with the allegations and pressing charges, my stepsister, she had to go to therapy. And she going to therapy. I'm just like, I'm still here. They're pushing everything in the back of my head. So after that, a couple years, I was working on a cruise ship in Hawaii. My stepsister hit me up on MySpace and was like, your mom's sick. I'm thinking sick, like, okay. So I called her, and just how I'm talking, LoRhonda said everything's fine. I'm like, Mom, what's going on? Everything's fine. You just talking normal. So by the time my contract ended, I found out that she had cancer. And they was like, LoRhonda, you gotta go see your mom. So I flew back to Memphis. So I had to get the money to go see her because she was up in Maryland. I was like, your mama, she want to see you. So mind you, while everybody's telling me this, I'm calling her, Mom, what's going on? And she's talking to me like, LoRhonda, everything's fine. They took me, she was in a rehab center. So I went there, and that cancer took over her body. Like, my mom, she was a healthy woman, and she had to probably be at least about 60, 70 pounds. And I was like, Mom. She was like, hey, LoRhonda. And she was like, she still could not tell me. I'm like, I'm looking right at her. She's like, everything's fine. So I'm like, when did all this happen? So I came probably that Friday. He passed away that Sunday. So I'm looking, I got questions. I'm mad now because I'm like, why didn't nobody tell me anything? Like, did nobody want to tell me? And she just kept telling, do not let her know. Because she felt like I wasn't that strong, but I was strong. If you would have told me way before ahead of time, I would have took a way different route. So she passed. We had the funeral. He come. I'm like, I'm not able to do this. I can't. Nah. Because by then, everybody knew what was going on with him. And they was feeling like, if your mom was here, bump that. Nah. So he ended up sitting next to me at the funeral. I couldn't even focus on the funeral because I'm like, why you sitting next to me? And then he had a nerve to put his arm around me. Oh, and I just felt like my dad, he knew, so my dad flew down to the other side. So after the funeral, I didn't talk to him like the whole time, like, ain't nothing changed. No, you're not gonna, no, we're not gonna play that. So after the funeral, he tried to call me. I wouldn't answer. He left a voicemail. He was like, why are you not talking to me? Like, he was actually mad, like I'm his girl. No. And that's been since 2007. And I haven't heard from him since then. And then come to find out after that, he ended up assaulting 2 more girls in the service. So this is a demon, like, He don't care who you is. That's how bad it is. So after my mom died, I took the wrong route. I was drinking, pill, everything. I just didn't care no more. So I tried to hide it. Depression was kicking in. I wanted to clean up my house. My dad, I was distanced from him. Like, he'll be knocking on the door. I wanted to answer. And one time he came in, my house was just tore up. And he was like, what is wrong with you? He was like, your mom was a clean person. I'm like, what they got to do with anything? I was down. Like, I felt like at that time I didn't have that support that I needed. It was more like, oh, your mom's gone. And after so long, everybody's back to their own business. So after that, I started having panic attacks. I used to wake up and just wake up screaming. I didn't know what was going on. I was going to the doctor. It was like nothing they could explain. So after I had my daughter, I named her. I told my mom she looked just like her. Had her. Then probably when turned probably around 10, the trauma started coming back during the pandemic. It was like I was just carrying all this dead weight. I was just crying. And I used to get so mad like my mom. And I'm like, what is going on? Like my brain was like just scrambled. Like I was walking around like somebody made me mad. It was like I would turn to this monster and I was just like, what is going on? I ended up going to the behavioral doctor and telling them what was going on with my life, and they was telling me I had anxiety and depression. So I got on medication. It's just one pill, but it worked wonder. When I tell you I'm a whole different person, I'm able to focus, I'm able to just be myself again. For these past couple of years, it was dark. It was like a demon was inside me, because people don't realize when you do have intercourse, raped or not, whatever, like sometimes I feel like those spirits would like transfer into you. So I just felt like at that time I almost felt like him, and it was like I could not be this person. It was bad. Like I was like literally like locking myself up in the house, raising my daughter. I had to tell them, like, just leave me alone. I said, Mommy, she's gonna be okay. But I didn't want to hurt her. I didn't want to say nothing out the way to her. So I was just like, just keep your distance. And that's when I knew, I said, I got to get help. Because I told myself I was not gonna be like my mom. Like I had to break these curses. And I did. Right now, I'm just better. Like, all the stuff I've been through, it's amazing that I'm still here. And I could just take it one day at a time. That's all I can do. For me to break that generational curse, I had to learn from my mother's mistake. Because I told myself, if I have a daughter, it's not going to be no sharing no rooms with if you did have siblings, it's not going to be just walking around, because my mom, she used to walk around in the news. So I had to like change all of that. So I had to talk to my daughter. I'm more vocal. I'm like, if anything happens to you, just come talk to me. Just tell me the truth. Like I had to be really like the total opposite of my mom to break these curses. Cause my mom, she came from, they didn't talk about none of that. My mom asked me one time in front of him, are you having sex? I'm looking like, just out the blue. I was like, no, like, why would she? It was just like, she did not know how to, that affectionate. I was like, no, if I have a daughter, I'm gonna make sure that she know that she's loved, she's beautiful. I'm always gonna be here. And that's what I did. Cause with Lola, she able to come talk to me about anything. I had to tell her about dressing herself. Make sure when you wear skirt, have tights on, all that. Cause it's like now I'm kind of overbearing. Cause when you go through that, you see, it's like your alert be on like 50. Like you looking at everything. I'm looking like, and I had to tell my daughter what I went through, and I had to tell her about it. Like, this stuff does happen, and it's still happening. And I told her I refuse to even put you in no type of situations, like leaving you with girls and boys, even with just girls, period. Like, I just had to do it. I take care of myself first. I had to learn to be like, even though I am a mother, I had to say, LoRhonda, you gotta take care of yourself first to be a better mother. So lately with my medication, I have to stay on top of my medication. But right now I try to write, try to listen to my music. I try to take care of myself first, because when you grow up with stuff like that, it's like sometimes you paying for people to love you. You like begging them, like, I'll do anything. And so people so used to you doing that, I had to start learning how to say no to folks now. I had to really learn how to take care of me, because if I can't take care of me, I'm not able to be a better mother, to be a better person in a relationship. I just had to just listen to myself first, because I tell people, do not be scared of medication. A lot of people always have, need to go and do that. No, if you really want to get yourself fixed, it's okay to take medication, because the way my mind was, I just couldn't do it. It was either do or die, because I felt like I was gonna do something crazy that was gonna jeopardize myself. Like, it was bad. My advice for people that's been through what I've been through is, it's not your fault. Number one, don't blame yourself. You are not the victim. I know it might sound scripted, but it's true. It's not your fault. Get it out. Do not hold it in, because it's like, the more you hold it in, it's just dead weight. You might think you're fine, but I promise you, it's going to come back out. It's no way of running from trauma unless you take it by the horn and handle it and say, look, I've been what I've been through, but I'm still here. It's okay to get help. It's okay to talk to somebody. I tell anybody, young, old, if you're going through it, please let somebody know. Please call somebody. Do not let them win over you, because it's like they will have a hold over you, and you just cannot live like that. Your mind has to be at peace.